everyone take a seat so we can start the lunch lecture. I want to welcome you all to the first lunch lecture of the year. Count&Cooper will present this lecture. Please stay till the end so you can get my future points upstairs with your student card. And I hope you'll enjoy this lecture.
Okay, thank you. I would do it like this, I think. Yes. Okay, hi everyone. Nice to see that there are so many people here. We want to tell something about Count&Cooper, the company we're working for, and show you one of the biggest projects going on currently in the Netherlands, which is the A9. So we will tell something about that. But first of all, I'm curious if some of you already heard about Count&Cooper. I see some hands. Okay, good. So we can still tell a lot about it. So what we do is we do project management in complex, large infrastructure projects. So mainly focused on infrastructure and also construction. And we also do tenders. So when we win a tender, we also do the execution. And we are founded 10 years ago, and already with 65 people, but we're still growing. And we are based in Rotterdam. There's the company, but we have a lot of projects spread around the whole of the Netherlands. And yeah, so that's basically what we do. I will introduce myself first. I studied in Delft and I did the Bachelor Complex System Engineering Management, and then the Master Transport Infrastructure and Logistics. And currently I'm working now for almost 2 years for Count&Cooper, and I'm the design coordinator at VeenIX project that we will talk about more later on. But first, something about myself. I really like to play tennis. That's what I do since I was really little already. And I also found out a few years ago that I liked ice skating. So you see that on the picture here. And last year I joined a track of 100 kilometers in Austria, so the Weitzensee. I don't know if you heard about it, but I really like that. And also hiking, so I did a lot of hiking trips. And of course traveling. Here you see a picture of me in a Volkswagen van, where I traveled for a month through the whole of Europe. So yeah, that's something more about myself, besides the work. And this is my colleague Janne.
Hi everyone, my name is Janne Beukers and I'm working as a project analyst at Count&Cooper. Working now for a year. And I am a communication coordinator at Project VeenIX, and we will explain that project later on. Yeah, I also included some pictures about my hobbies. I really like to go sailing, and I'm a huge Formula 1 fan, so I don't miss any race. And next to that, this year I organized the construction day at the building site of our project. So everyone could visit and had a look at the outside. And I really like to go outside next to the work inside. So I really like to walk around in my orange clothes. Our office is located in Rotterdam, and it is next to the central station. So you can see in the picture, it's in the Groot Handelsgebouw on the top floor. And yeah, therefore really easily accessible by public transport.
Yes, so we are operating in 4 main sectors. And the main sector is the infrastructure one, what I told you about before. But we are also working in the marine. So one of the projects is Twente Kanalen, where we're trying to make the canal deeper for more heavier transport. And also we see that we're more focusing on the energy transition and modern cities in the future. So it's also nice that we are extending our sectors that we're working in. And modern cities is more about creating buildings of the future, so focused on how are we going to make the buildings and cities more greener, and how are we going to solve the housing problem, for example. So we will show you some main projects we're working on. So this is the A9. We're currently extending the track from Badhoevedorp and Holendrecht with one extra lane. And this is the biggest project currently going on. It has a value of 1 billion euros, so it's huge. And we're working there for 7 years we will construct, but then still we need 15 years of maintenance. And which is so complex about this track, it's a track of kilometers long, but you also have a lot of municipalities like Ouder Amstel and Amstelveen, but also water authorities and many complex structures that also need to be wider. And also how we won the tender was that we promised that the construction will be side on side with the track. So transport will always continue, so we never close the main highway. So you see that on this picture as well, that they're still driving but also working at the same time. And this is a picture of you see some demolition work on the left side where a bypass is made.
And next to that, we also worked on the entree in Amsterdam, and it's a bicycle storage. And what's unique about it is it's underneath water, and that's the only one in the world right now. And what was complex about this project? Now we were constructing in the middle of a crowded place in Amsterdam, and therefore the building pit wouldn't be that large. So that's quite complex, and also all the transport should move on around the building pit. So we did the project management of it and finished it in January this year. So the next picture you can see the inside of the bicycle storage. Maybe some of you already visited.
Yes, and another one is Project Kademakers in Amsterdam. That's one of the projects that I also worked on. And here we are renovating the quay walls in Amsterdam. So as you probably know, that there are many walls constructed like a long time ago, but not with the intention that many trucks and tourists are walking by. So a lot of those walls are collapsing currently. And we got the arrangement to reconstruct 2 kilometers of quay walls in the coming 8 years. So this is also a quite big project. And is here also quite complex when you look at it's kind of similar to the entree, because you're working on a really small area in the city center of Amsterdam. You have to deal with the tourists that are using the canals for tourist boats, but you also have a lot of inhabitants living there around, and you see the boats as well. So you can imagine that it's quite hard to build something like that in the middle of the city center. And we were doing that together with Baines, a construction party. And they actually made their own equipment, especially for this assignment, to fit it in such a small area. And I worked here on the project, and I was mainly focused on planning and risk management, and also on the movement of those boats, the woonboats. And that maybe sounds easy, but you have to imagine that it's someone's house. So it's not that easy to just replace it to another place in Amsterdam. And also it was also not very easy to move it under the bridges. So we had to make it more heavy with water in kilikos to make it actually happen. So nice experience to do.
And next to that, you already said it, we worked on the Twente-kanalen, so the channels in Twente. And we are widening and deepening the channels in order to make it possible for bigger ships classes to go through the channels. And this project is almost finished, so we're like busy with the last few parts, and then we're done.
Yeah, so our slogan is building new ways. You have many companies that are doing project management in such projects, but this company has started like 10 years ago with the intention to do it in a smarter and newer way, because the construction market is very conservative, so there's not that much innovation and stuff. So we are trying to do that with the people we have, the technology that we apply, and the partners we have. So, of course, we are not the people that actually do the construction work, but we are doing the project management side. So you can see that inside our company, the people are actually the people that are doing the work. So therefore, you can see that Count&Cooper is investing a lot of time and effort in the people, and you can see that, for example, by all the trainings that we get and the selection procedure that we have. But I really like it that there's so much space for development and time to develop inside the company. So a lot of focus on the people.
Yeah, and besides that, we really focus on tech. So, for example, at the project Twente Kanalen, we implemented a dashboard. And on that dashboard, we can see the groundwater level over the whole, along the whole channel. And by doing that, we can see if, due to our work, the groundwater level is changing or not, or if it's stable. And when, for example, the groundwater level increases, we get a notification, and then we can immediately react to that. So, we're improving the construction and the efficiency of it by implementing, for example, dashboarding.
Yeah, and then the last aspect is the partners that we're choosing. So we're the builder that doesn't build ourselves, so we need the right partner. So we're looking for a good collaboration, and when we have one, you see that we often work together on several projects. So partners is the last one.
Yeah, but how to manage a project with a value of $1 million? I think you often see in newspapers that a project is delayed or the costs are increased, and we at Count&Cooper want to prevent that, of course. So hopefully our project won't be in a newspaper later on. We think it's no longer possible to just deliver projects by being good at construction. So we focus on delivery management, and we always think about what's the best for the project, and therefore have clear communication. And of course, technology always plays a role in it. And besides that, we think we can really change the construction sector by being part of it instead of just advising. So that's also why we're not just a consultancy, because we're really participating into the project.
Yeah, so we are focused on tendering and project management, but I can imagine that it's a bit vague what project management is. So here are some main things that we are focusing on with the company. So you see that we often have people working in the contracting procurement side or financial control. Planning and risk is something we always do. So that's what I did in the Kademakers project. But also focusing on the quality and performing audits to test your internal processes. We always have a stakeholder team from our side, like you are part of now. And we have a whole team of digital, like a digital project management team. So there's a whole team inside our company that's focused on data analysis, making things smarter, more efficient, and connecting data together. So they're always connecting, always part of our teams at the project. So that's also a really nice area. And we try to look how we can make our teams work better together and more efficiently. So we will explain a bit more about the A9 project. So what do you think VeenIX, why it's called VeenIX, if you think about the highway? Why do you think the name is called VeenIX? Someone has an idea? Yes, exactly. So you see the 9, IX, and there's something else. Okay, and it crosses, one of the biggest stakeholders of the project is Amstelveen, so that's why. And also, you have to be a bit creative for this part. The logo also represents some things that are connected to the project. So what do you think you see on this on the first one? What is it connected to? Yes. So the first one's the highway. Maybe you can see some. Ooh, no, too fast. Yeah, so this was the one is the noise barrier. You can see that we are building also 14 kilometers of noise barrier aside the road. The second one is a bit complicated, maybe. What do you see? What do you say? No, it's actually a phoenix. So that's the phoenix arises from the ashes. So we're rebuilding something. So that's why it's that included in the logo. And the other one, it's more easy. It's the letter A. And the last one is representing the bridges that we are also renovating and extending at the project. Okay.
So yeah, let's talk about the VeenIX project, and I will explain a bit more about the highway. Yeah, we're widening and deepening the A9 between Badhoevedorp and Holendrecht. So it's a highway close to Schiphol Airport. And in 2019, we won the tender. And from 2020, we started the execution, and now it's planned to finish it in 2027. So hopefully, as I said, we reach it and we don't delay. If we zoom in a bit, the highway includes a lot of structures. So in Dutch, we called it kunstwerken. So therefore, we often use the letters KW to name the structure. And the highway crosses go through the Amsterdamse bos. So we cross this forest, and you have flora and fauna included in that. And we go through Amstelveen. So we have a lot of residents living really close to the A9. So that's really important for the stakeholder management topic to satisfy those people and prevent that that our works result in too much noise and also traffic hindrance. And besides that, the highway continues through Ouderkerk aan de Amstel, and the soil is really weak over there. So Laura explained, like, the name VeenIX is because of the highways going through Amstelveen, but it's also about the soil, which is veen in English, peat, and that's also quite challenging to work structures in that soil conditions.
Yes, and some facts on a row. So this is a highway of 11 kilometers. There are living 100,000 residents around it, and the project is 1 million. Has a value of $1 billion euro. Every day they are crossing 150,000 cars, and we're going to construct, hopefully 7 years and not longer. The planning consists of 20,000 lines of activities that needs to happen, so it's enormous. And we have beforehand 6,500 requirements that are defined and that we all should meet during the project. We are working with around 500 people now, and more than 400,000 documents. So the project is very large. It's so different than the other things that I did before, but it's really nice to see and experience. And of course, Rijkswaterstaat has some requirements that we need to work on together. So we have to act responsible with our stakeholders and satisfy them. Look at the noise that we produce, and look for that. And in the end, try to control the costs and also time, and focus on sustainability as well.
And in order to to complete a huge project like this, we divided the highway in 4 sub areas. One of it is the part in the west side. We have the middle side and the east side. And besides that, we have the area facing and roads, and those that's focused on the highway itself. So asphalting and groundworks, and each sub area includes some complex structures. So let's zoom in a bit. When we look at the west part, the most complex structure in it is the Schipholbrug, and I will show it on the picture. You can see it right here, and we want to widen the bridge, but since it's a bridge which should be open and closed, we need to replace it at once. But since we promised that the highway will be always open, we're currently building a highway next to it, so an extra temporary bridge in order to let the traffic go over that bridge. So that's quite complex. And you can see the final situation over here. But we also have a small movie about it, and it explains the construction of the Schiphol Bridge. It's in Dutch, but hopefully, you can still understand it by the. Wat is dit? Wait.
Oh, it's reclame.
Okay, I have over here.
Rijkswaterstaat verbreedt de A9 tussen de knooppunten Badhoevedorp en Holendrecht. Een bijzonder onderdeel van dit project is de Schipholbrug. Dit is een van de grootste beweegbare bruggen, ook wel bascule. Genoemd van Nederland. De brug wordt aan beide kanten verbreed en versterkt. Ook komen er 2 nieuwe, bredere brugkleppen, vallen genoemd. De brug moet tijdens de werkzaamheden beschikbaar blijven voor het verkeer. Daarom bouwen we eerst een tijdelijke brug naast de zuidkant. Verkeer richting Amsterdam-Utrecht gaat over die tijdelijke brug rijden. Verkeer richting Haarlem en Schiphol schuift op van het noordelijke naar het zuidelijke deel. Zo komt de noordkant van de brug vrij. Hier verbreden we de brug en vervangen we het eerste val. Deze is 32 meter breed, 15 meter breder dan het huidige val. We werken vanaf grote platformen op het water. Voor het inhijsen van de nieuwe vallen gebruiken we grote, verzwaarde kranen om het enorme gewicht te kunnen tillen. Omdat de brug zo dicht bij Schiphol ligt, moet dit door de hoogte van de kranen ook precies worden afgestemd met de luchthaven. Zodra de noordkant van de brug is verbreed, rijdt al het verkeer over dit deel. De tijdelijke brug breken we weer af, zodat er ruimte is om de zuidkant te verbreden. Het nieuwe val dat we hier plaatsen is 27,5 meter breed, 9 meter breder dan nu. Het vervangen van de vallen gebeurt dus in 2 periodes van enkele maanden. Omdat de brug dan niet open kan, moeten hoge schepen in deze periodes gebruik maken van een andere vaarroute. Voordat de brug helemaal klaar is, testen we eerst alle bewegende delen en de besturingssystemen. Zo weten we zeker dat alles straks goed werkt. In 2026 is de Schipholbrug vernieuwd en verbreed.
Hij moet hier weer weg. Kan ik dat gewoon zo doen? Ja. Okay, great. Okay. Yeah.
And so that's only the part west, but in the middle, they're going to construct a deep cut. So yeah, a deep cut with 3 roofs over. I will show a picture. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's also to reduce the hinder from noise from a side. And currently, it's just a road. So the deep cut is quite complex if you look at the design. And also there's one viaduct and two bridges that needs to be extended. And here you see one of the viaducts that's demolished already. And yeah, so that's this viaduct that you're seeing, which is already demolished. And in the end situation, there will become 3 roofs. So one of the roof will be like a city park, and the other ones are also including like a cycling bridge or cycling path to connect north and south with each other. And in total, there will be 3 roofs. So this is one of the most complex parts of the project, you can maybe imagine. I also have a small video to demonstrate it better than this only pictures.
De locatie van de toekomstige verdiepte ligging wordt eerst verdeeld in 18 bouwkuipen door het plaatsen van damwanden. De damwanden worden vastgezet met ankerstangen. Vervolgens voeren we in elke bouwkuip dezelfde werkzaamheden uit. Eerst wordt de bouwkuip voor een deel ontgraven. Daardoor vinden veel zandtransporten plaats om de grond af te voeren. Daarna boren we funderingspalen in de grond, zodat de betonnen vloer straks op zijn plek blijft liggen en niet omhoog komt drijven. In totaal boren we voor de noordelijke bak ongeveer 6900 palen. Het boren van palen levert veel minder geluidhinder op dan heien. Als de palen zijn geboord, vullen we de bouwkuip met water. Dat doen we om het laatste stuk te kunnen ontgraven. Zo zorgen we namelijk voor tegendruk en daarmee voorkomen we dat de bodem omhoog komt door de druk van het grondwater. Als de bak diep genoeg is, worden duikers ingezet om op elke funderingspaal een schotel te draaien waar het onderwaterbeton omheen wordt gestort. Door de schotels zitten de palen stevig vast in het beton. Na ongeveer 4 weken is het onderwaterbeton uitgehard. De vloer is waterdicht en het water wordt uit de kuip gepompt. Bovenop het onderwaterbeton wordt wapening, stalen vlechtwerk aangebracht en daarna de constructievloer gestort. Vervolgens worden de betonnen wanden geplaatst. Bij de overkappingen volgt na de wanden ook het dak. Op de wanden worden brandvertragende panelen geplaatst, gevolgd door een metalen korf met lavastenen. De lavastenen absorberen geluid. Als laatste wordt het asfalt gelegd en de markering aangebracht. In de noordelijke bak rijdt verkeer eerst op 2x3 versmalde rijstroken. De bypass kan dan worden verwijderd en de zuidelijke bak kan worden gebouwd. Dat doen we op dezelfde manier als de noordelijke bak. In 2027 rijdt het verkeer door de volledig verdiepte ligging en kan worden gestart met de definitieve inrichting van de overkappingen.
So this shows all the steps that are needed to finish the deep cut.
Yeah, and besides that, we have the section east. It's the largest section, and it included a lot of civil structures, so viaducts and some bridges. And as I said before, the ground the soil is a bit weak over there, so that's quite challenging. Over here you can see a picture from above, and I visited the site. Oh, what happened here? Okay. I visited the site last week, and they were actually working outside with the divers, which as you can see, as you said, saw in the video before. And this guy was working underwater for almost 5 hours, so that was quite intense, but very nice to see. Hopefully everything is okay over there. Okay, I think
Is this the fire alarm? No, right? It's not that loud. It's more like a car.
Okay, I'll just continue. Yeah, on this slide you can see the facing of a road, and yeah, as we promised that we keep the highway always open for the traffic, we really need to think about, okay, how can we widening the highway while the traffic is just continuing. So we realized a bypass, so a temporary highway, in order to start at the north part for the deep cut. And I also have some a small video about that. Again.
Op dit moment staan we dus nu op de nieuwe snelweg, op de bypass. Dus deze gaat komende maandag gaan ze open. En als je iets die kant op kijkt, iets naar rechts kijkt, dan zie je dat ze daar de oude snelweg al aan het weghalen zijn. En dan gaat het verkeer hier maandag gaat hier eroverheen, over het nieuwe gedeelte. We kunnen hier nog even...
Yeah, in I guess February the bypass was opened, and after that the highway could demolished, and we're now working on the deep cut over there. So we're doing a lot of sheet piling, and that's quite heavy and results in a lot of noise for the environment, so and for the residents. So therefore, stakeholder management is very important in that part. Yeah, and we collaborate, of course, with our client, Rijkswaterstaat. In the tender, we promised all the project and how we manage it, and during the project we discuss with them how to solve, for example, if there are problems or things are happening which we couldn't foresee. And besides that, we have the external stakeholders. We should inform them about, for example, the works, and if we want to close a road, we need to discuss it with the municipality.
And we have around, I think, 25 people on the A9 working from Count&Cooper, and we are having some roles more in the strategic part, but also in the digital part, like VeenIX Virtual, where I talked about before. We have a design and integration team. That's my team currently. And furthermore, we have stakeholder managers, permits managers, people that are focusing on verification and validation, risks, planning. So you see many different roles. And also there's a team more focused on the real construction outside. And when you look in our organizational chart, you see that we are fulfilling these roles in the company, in the project. So let's zoom in a bit more on our daily tasks.
Yes, I will start. I'm in the stakeholder management team of VeenIX, and the execution of stakeholder management. We're applying for permits in order to get access to work, and besides that, we're responsible for the communication to residents and Rijkswaterstaat. So yeah, there are a lot of topics belonging to stakeholder management, but for example, if we want to close the road for 2 weeks, we really need to think about it and discuss it with a municipality, for example in Amsterdam, and then we hand over a plan, like how we want to do our work, for how long the road is closed, and is there an alternative for the cars and bicycles, for example. And another thing is, for example, we can maybe by mistake break something within our project area, but what isn't from us. And also we need to discuss with the stakeholder how we're gonna fix it. An example of it is, for example, trees. Sometimes we need to remove a tree in order to continue with our work, and then we need to discuss it with the municipality. Besides that, we working on permits. If we are doing work which result in a lot of noise, we need to get a permit for it in order to execute. And besides that, we're doing communication to residents, and I write a lot of letters about about the works for the whole A9. So, for example, next week they are going to put sheet piles into the ground, and that's really heavy work. And then I inform the residents about from what time to what time we work, what work is about, and if there is a road closure or not. And yeah, there are a lot of stakeholders included in our project, since we're going through the municipality of Haarlemmermeer, Amstelveen, and Oudekerk aan de Amstel, and we need to discuss all our plans with those municipalities, but also the water boards, public transport. So it's quite complex, but I like it very much. And besides that, we sometimes also get some complaints from residents about our work. And the complaint we get the most is about the beeps from our machines. In the tender, we promised that we only use white noise, and that's not really a beep, but more, how do you say it? More, sort of kraken. So it's less annoying than a beep, but some machines still uses the beeps, and then we get some complaints about that. And then we need to go outside and tell them that we only can use white noise.
And I'm more focused on the design part. So as you probably know, that there are different phases in the design. We have the VO, DO, and UO. And currently we are mainly full focused on the execution design. And there are I think more than 30 companies involved in this process to make the final design. And these are the main ones. But I are focusing to get the designs reviewed by the right people. So the first step that I do is aligning the design internally with the right disciplines. So, for example, work preparators need to look at it, construction managers, but also more specialists, a party that is specialized in structural safety, or someone that looks at ecology or sustainability. So I set up the review process and have a lot of meetings to get that aligned, and sometimes it can be very hard because everyone has their own interests. And when it is internally fine, then I need to align it with the stakeholders and Rijkswaterstaat. So that's one thing that I'm focusing on, but also to hand over it to the right parties. And also the UO is already, I think, 3,000 of documents. So there are also many document controllers that need to be managed. So that's, for example, something I do. I hope that in 6 months we are done with the complete design, because it took a while. But I like it to see all those different disciplines that are involved and get a final design in the end. Yeah, and these are some final pictures of our company. We are with 60 that I told you, and a few months ago we went to Madrid because we existed for 10 years. So that was really nice for a weekend. But also we have every quarter, we have a Count&Cooper day, where we, and you see on the right, that was once when we went sailing. And every year you have Christmas party, but those are just some images to show the atmosphere. And I don't know, you are bachelor students or also master students? I don't know, both? Okay, so if you want to know more about us, you can always contact us and look if there is a working student place available. But we also have an internship And what more? We have, you can also graduate in our company. So if you are interested, you can always contact us. And of course, also if you're interested to work. But yeah, this was a small introduction to the work we do and show a project that we're working on. And still, it's of course a bit general, but hopefully enough to give you a view about what we're doing. So thank you. Are we in time? Yeah. Oh, are there questions so far? Ooh, do you know that? What? That's too hard. I don't know. But I can ask it, but I have to. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah. But I don't know. It's a hard question. Yeah. Yeah. So we are working with BIM 360. Do you mean that kind of systems? So that's also an information system where we are putting all our drawings inside the system, and we can easily compare that with all the newer versions, and also all the review comments, for example, and the models are put together at one place. So that's the single source of truth. But we also have like a geographic information system where all the drawings are included, and to make it easy to look in an online model to see, okay, what is going on where, which objects are related, what are all the open requirements and validation items. So yeah, I think we are really focusing on that in the project to get all the information stored at one place. Yeah. Yeah, it's always to support more, I think, not only rely. Yeah. More? No. Okay, thank you then, and good luck with your lectures.
First of all, thank you for this nice and interesting presentation. I have a little present for you. Thank you all for joining the lecture. You can go upstairs and go to one of my fellow board members, and they'll scan your student card so you get my future points. And hope to see you at any future activity of GEOPS.